So I was at the library the other day and I found this book here. 400 Photos, Ansel Adams. And I thought, man, I just have to borrow this because this would make an insanely cool Photographer Reacts video. So today what I'm going to do is flip through this book and take a look at some of Ansel Adams' photos and show you my reaction and maybe talk a bit about why I do or don't like his photos. So if you don't know who Ansel Adams is, he was a landscape photographer back in the 1950s. And he's known for his black and white landscapes and also for inventing the exposure zone system where you can judge like the relative exposure of different elements of your scene and see where they should sit in the exposure waveform. His photos these days sell for like $2,000 to $20,000 just for one photo as well. Like, that's insane. So definitely, hopefully, some really good shots to react to today. Let's flip through this book. All right, opening it up. I will not be reacting to every photo, just the ones that I think really stand out. Otherwise, it'd be here forever. Plus, you should all just borrow this book anyway. Okay, here we go. This book is really hard to hold. It's got a sleeve on it. It keeps coming off. I'm just gonna put it down. Oh, I love this photo here. This one's really nice. I just love the depth in it. I think just the foreground, midground, background is really clear and the water just creates like this movement throughout it. Big fan of that. And I think just the black and white as well just makes it look so much deeper with the darker foreground elements going to more lighter background elements. Just love that. Wow, there's such cool landscapes in here. He likes to use his trees as like foreground elements. Definitely helps to add the depth, but it's just interesting. The subject matter is just amazing, to be honest with you. The clouds just look so nice and fluffy, and the lake is just quiet, and you get the reflection of the mountains. Nice sort of central composition as well, and lots of leading lines going down into the mountain. Wow, look at the mist just coming off that waterfall there. That's insane. So I imagine he'd probably be using quite a high shutter speed to try and get that mist captured. And the way that the light plays off is really nice as well. Just with the foreground trees in shadow and the light hitting that mist really just helps to accentuate it and to make it easy to see. Oh, we got some snow landscapes. I love this snow trees photo here. Just the texture on it's really nice. Just all those branches covered in snow. It's really just a great subject matter to shoot. And snow's a hard thing to expose for as well because you often have to underexpose snowy images a bit just because snow is so bright and it's so white. It just tends to overexpose if you don't underexpose to compensate. Oh, we got some portraits. Portraits are really interesting in the black and white. I need to do some black and white portraits. That would be cool. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a video like that. Oh wow, look at that. There's a lot of texture in that foliage photo there with all the grasses and the flowers. I think the black and white really adds to that as well. If that was in color, I feel like you just get everything pretty lost in green. I love just the texture of all the different types of plant leaves there. It looks like something just out of cinema. I feel like I would find that in like an old movie or something. The light just coming in and embracing shadows and wow, really amazing. And the subject just captured at the right place, I reckon. Right place, right time. That's really cool. I just like the shadow on the mountain. I think that's really nice. Just like light on one side, shadow on the other side. Definitely caught it at the right time of day, and the clouds in the background are super cool. You definitely have a good foreground as well with those little trees. Just a lot of depth in the image. He's very good at that, Ansel. Very good with his depth. This one's just like such an expanse of a landscape. It's really beautiful. Sometimes it can be hard to make like a focal point in landscapes like this. I think whatever that dome thing is there is a good enough subject that our eye gets led to that and it has somewhere to rest. And I just love the clouds as well and just the dappled shadows over the landscape. Just beautiful lighting. And black and white really exposes that. If you are shooting in black and white, lighting is the only thing that you have to direct people on where to look. Oh, cool. Clearing Winter Storm in Yosemite National Park. I would have that on my wall, maybe. That might be a contender for wall print right there. I just love that you lose the tops of the mountains in the clouds. That to me is just, oh, the most amazing sense of scale. And I just love all the trees and they just become so small, which adds to that scale as well. And just, yeah, the waterfall coming off that mountain. What a beautiful landscape shot that is. And storms are just phenomenally cinematic as well. I'm a big fan of storms. Oh, see this one as well. You just can't tell where the lake starts and the land ends. It's just one giant mirror. Wow, Mirror Lake. That makes sense. So still, it's just so crisp as well. Even the reflections are really sharp. And it's just a beautiful landscape as well with the mountains towering over it and the trees and the lake shoreline. See, this photo is really interesting right here. Just the portrait composition, really nice, and just a central framing and all the leading lines just leading you right into that rock formation. Really beautiful, and the lighting coming from one side, big fan of that. It's simple, but I think it's really effective, especially in black and white. This is the Hoppy Butt in Monument Valley, Arizona, and I just love just the minimalism in this composition, but also just the lighting. It's just in shadow and it's really dramatic. You got the clouds and the lighting just falling either side of it as well. Wow, see, this one's amazing as well. That'd be another close contender for a wall print. I would consider wall printing that one. I just love like the leading line of the river going through there and the depth of the 3 mountains that you can see. Not to mention that, again, the lighting's just great with just the contrast of the shadows and the highlights. And the clouds seem to be just blocking the light in the right places. Really beautiful. I wonder how long he sat there for, waiting to get that shot. Wow, see, this photo is really interesting. Lots of negative space, which I really like. Sometimes I'm against it, but in this case, I really like it. Just got the landscape only in the lower third. You got the moon nicely in the middle, a little bit of clouds, and then just a starry sky. Love that. And also, it's just such an expanse of land between the town and the mountains. The mountains look so small, but we know they're huge, and it just sells the scale really well. I could do mountains and rules of thirds all day. I could just look at rule of thirds mountain photos until the cows come home. But just like the clouds over the top of this mountain, we got that little mound on the bottom right, and then you sort of have that big monument rock looking thing on the top left, and the lights coming from the right angle to get the beautiful long shadows. Great photo. There's so many photos here. This video is going to go forever. They're all so good. I just want to talk about all of them. You need to borrow this book. You need to find it in the local library near you, or look at it online, or whatever. Find Ansel Adams photos. Wow, see, they're all so good. Okay, don't talk about all of them. Don't talk about all of them. Oh, see, this photo I really like as well. That's another one that I would consider wall printing. Man, like, Arizona just has some beautiful landscapes. But I love just the depth in this photo, foreground, middle ground, background. You got a bit of rule of thirds. And I also just love the high contrast in the closer elements and sort of just more faded and less contrasty as you go towards the back. Usually that happens naturally when you have like fog or mist or something like that in your scene, or just atmospheric haze from a huge landscape. But in this case, I think the contrast difference between them really helps to just sell that depth. Looks amazing. Man, I need to go to Arizona. This is basically just becoming a travel guide for me on where I need to go and shoot. That's like wall printable as well. I'm gonna have my whole house filled with Ansel Adams photos soon. Look at that, leading line of the river to the huge mountains with the clouds just looking so beautiful and stormy over the top. Oh man, I love that. Wow, look at that. We got some like Giza photos. Definitely need like a higher shutter speed on those. And just the light coming, oh, like backlighting it? Wow, that's really cool. Detail shots of natural textures I just love, and water droplets on them, like these grass shots here, just add so much texture to it. See, this one's nice here. This one's really interesting. So we have a really big foreground element, and then we have 2 nice background elements that sort of split off on a nice diagonal. We're getting like that triangular composition, which is a really interesting composition technique, and one that's hard to do well, but I think this is a really great photo, and the sort of more square aspect ratio helps a lot to add to that triangle composition. And the light rays, oh man, that's so cool. Look at that, cathedral rocks. Love that. Just the scale in that photo is amazing. And he's got the clouds as well, and the lights coming in. Looks like it might be kind of around golden hour because the light's a bit more soft, a little bit less harsh. Wow, now this is interesting again. We got that triangular composition. So we got like an interesting like foreground tree looking thing. And then we have the 2 grand mountains in the back of the landscape with the waterfall and the clouds over the top. And you got just the small trees, such a sense of scale and a really interesting composition. I'm intrigued by that one. And that's a great example as well, I think, of just a creative composition at a location I'm sure a lot of people have visited, especially now, even more so because Yosemite is such a location now. See, this one would be close to a wall hang level for me as well. That's really nice. And the winter landscape is so different. I think it's a great lesson in just returning to the same spots in different seasons, especially in landscapes, because it just changes the look so much. This photo here is amazing as well. Low-hanging cloud in the composition just sells the scale so much because it's like when there's a huge mountain that's just so far above the cloud level, you feel like the scale is increased. Just using, I think, our natural understanding as humans of how big and where certain elements are placed, you can really sell certain stories. And there's a good balance in this photo as well. Nice rule of thirds thing going on. You got some good leading lines. Love that. And the scale of the trees. Another thing that we know the scale of that helps to dictate how big those mountains actually are. Man, that's such a good photo. I love just a good bit of farmland. It just feels like everything farmland should be to me. I just love the rolling hills, the afternoon sun coming down. You got like the gate with the winding road just going through to the mountains in the background. This photo just speaks farm life to me, and I love that. It's the exact feeling I want when I see like a farmland. Look at that, just the forest there. I love just the subject matter of the trees, backlit with the light, beautiful textures. And you'll notice as well that it's pretty clear around the edges. So all the distracting edge elements are put further into the photo, like that weird swirly looking branch is not right on the edge of the photo. It's actually a little bit further in so that we're not distracted by it. I think it's just a good sense of simplistic composition inside of a complex forest. I just love a good foggy forest. Wow, that is amazing. You got the leading line of the road through the trees. You got the beautiful depth created with the fog. That's why we like it so much. And just these wonderfully straight trees as well. All right, there we go. That is the end of Ansel Adams' 400 photographs. That was so much fun. I really enjoyed that. And there were some phenomenal photographs in there. Absolutely amazing. I would definitely hang some of them on my wall. If you have a chance to pick up this book or give it a look, or even just Google Ansel Adams photos, definitely do it. It'll be absolutely worth your time, and I want to go and shoot some black and white landscapes now. I'm really in the mood to go and do that. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments down below, and whilst you're down there, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you want to see more photographer reacts, or black and white photo shoots, or cool films, or all the other things I do on this channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss out on those future videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next week. See you then.